Manchester United are in motion, not slowly, not cautiously, but with real urgency and with real decisions being made at the highest level of the club. The summer of 2026 is shaping up to be one of the most defining transfer windows in recent memory for this club. And right now, before a single deal is officially done, the picture is already becoming crystal clear. Michael Carrick has United sitting third in the Premier League. Champions League football looks increasingly likely. And with that comes the weight of expectation, the weight of preparation and the weight of serious investment. The club knows it, the manager knows it, and the players being targeted know it too. But here is the thing that makes this story so compelling. It is not just about who United are signing, it is about the entire ecosystem of decisions surrounding this club right now. Marcus Rashford, Sandro Tonali, João Gomes, Mason Greenwood, Luke Shaw, Marc Casadó. Every single one of these names is connected to the same central story, which is Manchester United attempting to rebuild themselves into genuine European contenders. And today we are going to break all of it down, every rumour, every confirmed report, every expert opinion, every implication. Because if you are a Manchester United supporter, you need to understand not just what is happening, but why it matters and what it means for where this club is going. Before we go any further, I want you to understand what is actually at stake here. This is not a standard summer transfer window for Manchester United. The decisions made between now and the start of next season will determine whether this club can genuinely compete in the Champions League or whether they find themselves exposed once again at the highest level of European football. The midfield situation alone is urgent. Casemiro is leaving. Manuel Ugarte is also expected to depart. That is potentially two central midfielders gone in one window. And the evidence suggests that United's own internal planning acknowledges this directly, with club officials already in agreement that two new midfielders must be recruited. Not one, two. On top of that, there are doubts surrounding Luke Shaw's physical ability to handle a heavier workload, meaning a new left-back is also on the agenda. And then there is the Rashford situation, which has taken a genuinely unexpected twist in the last 24 hours. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this, stories that go beyond the headlines and actually explain what is happening inside these clubs, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists to give you the full picture, not just the noise. Now let us get into it. Gary Neville, speaking on Sky Sports on March 16th, delivered a message that every Manchester United supporter needs to hear. His exact words were this: the centre of midfield is a problem. Meno and Casemiro are doing a great job right now for Michael Carrick. However, every Manchester United fan in this stadium knows that is going to be nowhere near enough when they start playing in the Champions League next season. He continued. It is more than likely they will qualify, and when they play a bit further in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup and they are playing in the Champions League, they are going to need 3 or 4 really good midfielder players. At the moment, you have got Menu, a midfield player you can buy into, but you cannot really look at any of the others and think that is going to work. He also said this: Casemiro is leaving and Manuel Ugarte, I think, will leave. They need 2 really good central midfield players, probably one that is more positional, like a Michael Carrick type, and one that is more of a destroyer. And his final point: I do think the back needs looking at, but the midfield would be the real focus in the summer transfer window. Gary Neville is not being dramatic here, he is being precise, and the precision of what he is saying is actually more alarming than the headline would suggest. He is not just saying United need midfielders, he is saying that what currently exists at this club, outside of Kobbie Mainoo, is simply not good enough for Champions League competition. That is a devastating assessment of the squad depth, and what makes it even more significant is that Neville is a United man through and through. When he says something this direct about his own club, you listen. The point about needing 1 positional midfielder and 1 destroyer is particularly interesting. It shows a very specific tactical vision, not just bodies, not just names, but a deliberate structure. United are not shopping randomly. They know exactly what type of players they need. And that clarity of thinking, that tactical specificity, is actually an encouraging sign that the planning at the club is more sophisticated than it sometimes appears on the surface. Roy Keane offered his own perspective on Michael Carrick on the same day, also via Sky Sports. His words were measured but pointed. Most players love a caretaker manager. He has not had any distractions. When you get appointed manager, you have a lot of different responsibilities. I think Manchester United needs someone with more experience of winning trophies, competing in Europe, and he has not got that. All this chat that everyone loves him, I do not know if everyone was loving him last week when they could not beat a Newcastle team with 10 men. The timing was good for Manchester United. Remember, this is the same team who finished 15th. People get giddy that United are 3rd in the league. I do not. I am not one of them. I get excited when teams are winning trophies. This is Roy Keane doing what Roy Keane does, cutting through the noise and refusing to be swept up in the momentum of a good run. And while his delivery is typically blunt, his underlying point has genuine substance. From caretaker manager to fully appointed manager is a significant one. The pressures, the media scrutiny, the board expectations, the player management, everything multiplies. Kane's point about European experience is valid. Champions League football demands a different level of tactical sophistication and game management. Whether Carrick has, that remains to be seen. But Kane's reminder that United finished 15th not long ago is an important anchor. This club should be celebrating trophies, not simply finishing third in the league. The bar must be higher. On March 16th, it was reported that João Gomes remains firmly on Manchester United's radar for the summer 2026 transfer window. The Brazilian midfielder, currently at Wolverhampton Wanderers, is positioned as a potential Casemiro replacement or an addition for midfield depth and quality. He fits the profile of an athletic, tenacious option in the engine room. United are compiling options internally, with Gomes listed alongside names including Elliot Anderson, who is described as the primary target, Carlos Baleba, Adam Wharton, Tyler Adams, Sandro Tonali and Felix Memeka. The fact that João Gomes is described as firmly on United's radar is significant language. This is not a casual interest. This is active monitoring and genuine consideration. What stands out immediately is the breadth of that internal shortlist. A7 names, 7 different profiles. That tells you United are not putting all their eggs in one basket. They are building a picture of the market and keeping multiple avenues open. Gomes specifically is interesting because he offers that destroyer profile that Gary Neville identified as a necessity. Athletic, tenacious, and at 25 years old, he is at a prime age for a major move. United's interest here makes complete sense given the gaps they need to fill. On March 16th, it was confirmed through sources close to Manchester United that the club insists either Barcelona pay the €30 million buy option for Marcus Rashford or he will return to United for pre-season. The position is unambiguous. United are not interested in negotiating the fee. This is Manchester United drawing a line in the sand, and it is an important one. The message being sent here is not just about Rashford. It is about the club's broader negotiating posture. United will not be pushed around by a club attempting to delay or reduce what was already contractually agreed. The €30 million option was set. Barcelona knew it, and the fact that United are willing to bring Rashford back to pre-season rather than accept a lower fee demonstrates real resolve. This is the kind of hardline stance that the club has sometimes lacked in previous transfer windows. It is a positive signal club officials at Manchester United are in agreement. They need to recruit 2 players in the midfield area this summer. United have shortlisted Sandro Tonali and are also interested in Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba and Alex Scott. However, complications exist. Adam Wharton wants to join a Champions League club. Manchester City are the frontrunners for Elliot Anderson, with sources doubting United could compete with City over his salary demands. This confirmation that club officials have agreed on 2 midfield signings is the most important administrative detail in all of these stories. It removes ambiguity. United are not exploring options casually. There is internal consensus that 2 players must come in. Now, the complications around Wharton and Anderson are real. Wharton's desire to join a Champions League club actually plays into United's hands if they qualify, which currently looks likely. The Anderson situation is more problematic. If Manchester City are the front-runners and salary is the issue, United need to be honest about whether they can genuinely compete for him. And if not, they need to redirect their energy toward targets they can actually land. Sandro Tonali is a fascinating name on that list for reasons we will come back to shortly. Juventus have identified Mason Greenwood as their preferred attacking reinforcement. This comes amid discussions over extending Dusan Vlahovic's contract. Marseille are said to be demanding €50 million for Greenwood. And Manchester United stand to benefit significantly due to a high sell-on clause between 40% and 50% of the profit or fee that was inserted into his 2024 departure. This means United could potentially net a large portion of any profit Marseille makes on this sale. This is a story that works entirely in Manchester United's favour without them having to do anything at all. The sell-on clause was a smart piece of business built into the original deal when Greenwood departed in 2024. 2020s do move for Greenwood at €50 million. United's financial return from that clause could be genuinely significant. That is money flowing back into the club that can directly fund the midfield rebuild being planned for this summer. It also shows that good contract work in outgoing deals can have real long-term value. This is not a glamorous story, but it is an important financial one. Newcastle manager Eddie Howe spoke directly about Sandro Tonali's future amid ongoing transfer speculation. His words, sourced through Fabrizio Romano, were clear. The person that matters the most is Sandro. I see him totally committed. He is here for the team, not for himself. Forget the noise around him. He is just fully committed. Managers say things like this publicly, and we must read them carefully. Eddie Howe is doing two things with this statement. First, he is protecting his player and managing the situation in the dressing room. Second, he is attempting to publicly cool the transfer speculation. Here is what is interesting. He does not say Tonali is not leaving. He does not say Tonali has signed a new contract. He says Tonali is committed right now. That is a present tense statement. It tells you nothing about the summer. And the fact that Howe felt the need to address the noise at all confirms that the noise is real. United's interest in Tonali is not going away. And Newcastle's public calm may simply be the composure of a club that knows a big offer is coming and is not ready to show its hand yet. Manchester United are planning to sign a new left-back as well as two midfielders in the upcoming close season. With United on course to qualify for Europe under Michael Carrick, the Old Trafford hierarchy have doubts over Luke Shaw's physical ability to play more games. 3 signings, that is the confirmed plan, 1 left-back, 2 midfielders, and the reason for the left-back search is explicitly tied to doubts over Luke Shaw's fitness and durability. That is a frank internal assessment of a player who has suffered repeated injury problems throughout his career at the club. It is not sentimental, it is practical, and frankly, it is the right call. If United are heading into Champions League football, they cannot afford to enter that competition with a left-back position that is vulnerable. This confirms the full scope of what United are planning. It is ambitious, it is necessary, and it suggests the club is approaching this summer with genuine strategic intent. Now we come to the story that changed everything in the last 24 hours. The Rashford situation has developed beyond a simple standoff over a fee. The situation is this: Barcelona's unwillingness to simply activate their option to buy Marcus Rashford has resulted in Manchester United proposing a cash-plus player bid. Barcelona want to retain Rashford outright, and why would they not? The 28-year-old has delivered 23 goal contributions this season, 10 goals and 13 assists. He has more than proven himself in Spain. Barcelona can sign Rashford permanently for €30 million. But instead of activating that option, Barcelona have been playing games. They first proposed a second loan, which would allow them to delay paying United the €30 million fee for another 12 months. Barcelona president Joan Laporta even publicly supported the idea of a second loan, suggesting formulas such as paying part of the buy option and figuring out the rest later. Manchester United rejected this immediately. No second loan, no renegotiation, no reduction. Those were the terms. But now the situation has evolved. It is now clear that Manchester United are reportedly willing to accept a reduced cash element of €10 million combined with the inclusion of Barcelona midfielder Marc Casadó in the, So instead of €30 million in cash, United would accept €10 million plus Casadó. Marc Casadó is 22 years old. He is a defensive midfielder. He is a graduate of Barcelona's famous La Masia Academy. He has made 28 appearances for Barcelona this season, though not all of those have been starts. He is highly regarded internally at the club. And crucially, it is reported that if Casadó were to arrive at Old Trafford, it would not be at the expense of United moving for their other higher-profile midfield targets. United's confirmed top 3 targets in central areas remain Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. Whether Barcelona will agree to include Casadó in this deal is the key question now. The decision is reportedly not one Barcelona will take lightly. La Masia graduates carry enormous sentimental and cultural value at the club, but the financial reality for Barcelona may ultimately force their hand. What Manchester United have done here is actually quite clever. By proposing the Casadó swap, they have done several things simultaneously. They have maintained their refusal to accept less than the agreed value of Rashford. They have opened a creative path forward that gives Barcelona a financial relief valve. And they have potentially solved one of their own most urgent problems, the midfield, as part of the same deal. Think about what Casadó represents in the context of everything else we have discussed today. United need a positional, intelligent central midfielder. Gary Neville specifically described the type as a Michael Carrick type. Casadó, a La Masia product, is built on exactly those principles. Technical, positional, intelligent with the ball, he may not be the destroyer profile United also need, but he could be the first piece of that midfield puzzle. The risk, of course, is that this deal does not happen. Barcelona are proud of their academy. Casadó represents their future. They will not give him away easily. And if negotiations break down, United may be left having accepted less cash for Rashford without getting anything in return. This is the most delicate negotiation United are currently involved in, and every development matters. Let us now go deeper on João Gomes, because this story has layers that the initial reports do not fully capture. The reality for any club chasing Gomes is that this is not a simple two-horse race. Manchester United and Liverpool are both stepping up their interest in the 25-year-old Wolverhampton Wanderers midfielder. But Chelsea, Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur have also made inquiries. 5 Premier League clubs are watching the same player. That level of competition will drive the price up and make the negotiation complex. What is working in United's favour is Wolves themselves. Behind the scenes at Molineux, there is acceptance that if the right offer arrives this summer, Gomes is likely to move on. That is significant. It means Wolves are not planning to play hardball indefinitely. They know the tide is moving, but here is the complication for United that cannot be ignored. Back in 22, when Gomes was still playing for Flamengo in Brazil, he was asked directly about his dreams. He said Liverpool was a team he would play for. He said he had a great desire to play there. Now, that was 4 years ago. Opinions and situations change, but it is a data point. It is a stated preference on record. And Liverpool, who are also chasing Gomes due to uncertainty around Alexis Mac Allister and Curtis Jones, know that history exists. Manchester United would need to offer Gomes not just a better financial package, but a compelling sporting project that makes him choose United over Liverpool. Champions League qualification, which looks likely under Carrick, would be a major factor, but it is not guaranteed yet. And Gomes himself is currently focused on making the Brazil squad for this summer's World Cup finals under Carlo Ancelotti, which means his mind is not entirely on his club future right now. The evidence suggests this will come down to the summer window itself to project to ambition and to who makes the first serious concrete offer. Let us take a step back now and look at the full picture that has emerged from everything we have covered today. Manchester United under Michael Carrick are on the verge of Champions League qualification. That is the foundation everything else is built on. Roy Keane may be sceptical about Carrick's long-term credentials, and Gary Neville may be warning about the midfield limitations, but the reality is that the club is in a far better position today than they were when they finished 15th. The summer plan is clear. 2 midfielders in, 1 left-back in, Casemiro out, Ugarte likely out. Those are the confirmed movements that United are working around. The targets are real and the internal list is detailed. Elliot Anderson as the primary midfield target. Carlos Baleba, whose price Brighton may reduce from £100 million to around £70 million, making a move to Old Trafford more feasible. Adam Wharton, if United qualify for the Champions League, which is what he wants. Sandro Tonali, despite Eddie Howe's public composure. Gomes now firmly in United's thinking, and potentially Marc Casadó arriving as part of the Rashford resolution. The Rashford swap is the wild card. If it happens, it could solve 2 problems in one deal. If it does not happen, United need €30 million in cash from Barcelona, and they need to go back to the market for a midfielder with that budget. The Greenwood sell-on clause is the quiet financial benefit that could inject real money into the budget if Juventus complete their reported interest in the player from Marseille. And Luke Shaw's situation confirms that United are being honest with themselves about the vulnerabilities in their squad. That kind of honesty, that willingness to make difficult decisions about established players is what serious clubs do when they are building for the long term. What we are seeing right now is Manchester United in a period of real transition. Not chaotic transition, not desperate transition, but the kind of structured, purposeful planning that has been absent from this club for too long. There is an internal agreement on how many players are needed. There is a defined profile for the types of players being targeted. There is a clear financial approach to incoming and outgoing business, and there is a level of tactical thinking behind every decision that suggests the people running this club are finally asking the right questions. Will every deal work out? Probably not. The competition for players like Gomes and Anderson is fierce. The Rashford negotiation is complex. The Tonali interest may face a determined Newcastle resistance. These things take time and they do not always go to plan. But the direction is right. The intent is clear. And for the first time in a while, there is genuine reason to believe that Manchester United's summer window will be defined by smart decisions rather than panic spending. That is the picture as it stands today. And as always on this channel, when things develop, we will be here to break them down for you. Because this is MA United analysis, and we do not just report the story, we explain what it actually means. If you found this breakdown valuable, please subscribe and leave a comment below letting me know which of these stories you want us to go deeper on next. The Rashford swap, the Gomes race, the Tonali situation. Let us know, and we will be back very soon with the next one.